Welcome back, Facebookians and those who like to tweet. Periscopians, you were with us through the break, but thank you for coming back. You are tuning into a victorious life journey to a wealthy season. I am the Apostle C.J. Watson II, the divinely inspired creators of Barbers for Christ Ministries, where we are religiously barbering yet purposely serving. And we're broadcasting live here from inside of the Hernandez Ranch in beautiful, mountainous, hilly Yucca Valley. And you have now turned yourself into the good news. For tonight, we are talking about, or going to be talking about, Allah's All-Stars, Ishmael's 12 sons. And we're going right inside of the beef between Hagar and Sarah, which is Abraham's baby mama. And so what you have just seen in that clip for the Facebookians is a clip that just kind of shows you the origins of where this whole thing began between Hagar and Sarah. And tonight we're going to go right into the scripture, right into Genesis chapter 16, and we're going to be talking about how this whole thing started. Actually, you know what? We're going to go into chapter 21, and we're going to be talking about how Ishmael got casted out. Next week, we're going to talk about the birth of Ishmael. But today, we're going to take you straight to the beef. And so it reads this. So the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, scoffing. Therefore she said to Abraham, cast this bondwoman out and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, namely Isaac. And the matter was very displeasing in Abraham's sight because of his son. But God said to Abraham, do not let it be pleasing in your sight because of the lad or because of your bondwoman. Whatever Sarah said to you, listen to her voice, for in Isaac your seed shall be called. Yet I will also make a nation of the son of the bondwoman, because he is your seed. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, and putting it on her shoulder, he gave it and the boy to Hagar and sent her away. Then she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, and the water in the skin was used up. And she placed the boy under one of the shrubs. Then she went and sat down across from him at a distance of about a bow shot, or a bow shot. For she said to herself, let me not see the death of the boy. So she sat opposite him and lifted her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. Then the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said to her, what ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad and hold him with your hand, for I will make him a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the skin with water and gave the lad a drink. So God was with the lad, and he grew, dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. He dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever and ever. Lord, I do believe that you have supplied me with an efficacious word for the people tonight. And I ask you just to move through my mouth, through my tired bones, through my wretched mind tonight, and let your glory just flow through me. Allow me to be the conduit that you created on the cross, as you have sent your power down through me, and I will send it out from me, so that the people that you have inspired to watch this broadcast tonight will be blessed by what you say through me. If there's any information that I misstudied, allow them to charge my head and not my heart. And that is not a disclaimer to keep me from getting in trouble or being talked about by people. I am simply letting people know that it is you that is inspiring me to do this. And I honor you and I praise you for choosing me tonight. Father, you are Shema Israel. There is none like you, none before you. And I honor you and I love you tonight. In the name of Jesus. Amen. So people, tonight we're going to be talking about Ishmael, Isaac, Hagar, and Abraham. One of the most insatiable yet incredible stories that has ever graced the book, the Holy Bible. And not only the Holy Bible, but also the Holy Quran. Now, you may have heard me speak in past messages about the revelation God gave me about the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible, and the Holy Quran. Now, the Holy Bible, I believe to be the book that was inspired by the teachings that Isaac received from Abraham, and the Holy Quran being inspired by the teachings that Ishmael received from Abraham. Now, what we just read is the history of how Ishmael became the father of the nation of Islam. Now, when you study Muhammad, you will find out that Muhammad is a direct descendant of Ishmael. Muslims believe this to be true based on these scriptures. All throughout the Old Testament, from Chronicles, all throughout all of the prophets, God talked about Ishmael's 12 sons. But before we get to that, we're going to go right to the heart of Abraham's baby mama drama. Now, do any of you currently have any baby mama drama? If you in fact do, we're going to take a moment for you. A brief moment. For I can sympathize with you. And later on in the show tonight, we're going to be talking about my baby mama drama because I am engulfed in it. Absolutely incredible. But this baby mama drama that Abraham has, he kind of brought on himself. Now, God had given Abraham a promise to send a seed through him that would bless the world. For from Abraham came everyone. Now, if you know anything about Abraham, or if you don't know anything about Abraham, then you will know that Abraham was the man that God spoke to after the flood. He was the man God spoke to after the flood. And Abraham originated from Ham's side of the family. Now, if you don't know who Ham is, or if you know who Ham is one of Noah's sons. And remember, Ham was the person that beget Canaan, and Canaan beget Nimrod. And Nimrod beget all of the idol worship inside of God's people. And this is where Abraham hails from, for his father was Terah, which was a direct descendant of Ham. And Terah was an idol worshiper. And God was looking down from heaven, and he got sick of seeing what was on the television. He got sick of seeing his heart skipping beats. Remember, his heart is his earth. When you skim it all up, you get the word he art. And he got tired of seeing what was going on in his heart, the beats that were skipping across his heart. And he decided to take Abraham on a journey of a lifetime, a journey to his wealthy season. So he spoke to Abraham. He said, leave your family and go into the land that I will show you. Go into the land that I will show you. So Abraham gathered his things. He got his loins behind him. He was girded up with truth. And he moved on to where God was going to show him. And throughout this whole journey, which was an insatiable journey, but very, very, very influential and efficacious for Abraham, he learned a great, great deal of things. But out of them all became two nations. Two nations. Now, Abraham's wife, Sarai, and this was Abram at the time. Abram and Sarai, this was prior to them becoming the mother and father of the world. They were Abram and Sarai. And so Sarai was barren. Now, remember, women who are blessed by God are barren. Women who are blessed by man have children. Now, that revelation may go over the top of your head, because when God first shared it with me, that's exactly where it went. Right over the top of my head. But if a woman is barren, she has been barren by God. And she has been blessed by God. Now, Sarai, I believe, based on what God has inspired me to believe, was barren, so that when it came time to take down a present day Pharaoh, she was able to do that. For it was Pharaoh who took her hostage. But it was the hostage taking that brought the disease into Pharaoh's house and began to kill his people. And he cursed Abraham for bringing a woman into his house. Now, if in fact Sarai had been unbarren or able to give children to the Pharaoh, then he would not have casted her out, for she was one of his favorite picks. Now, the Bible says that Sarah was beautiful. Now, I don't know why God likes to put these wretched men with these beautiful women. I am trying to figure this out. This is something that I am trying to figure out. Today I met a young man, a young bloke from the UK, and this young man came into the shop. He was not my client. He was Muji's client. He came into the shop and he was sorrowful. He was weeping almost, not literally, but figuratively. He was weeping. And not only that, he was walking as if he was handicapped. This young man began to share with Muji that he had lost another 6 stacks at the casino. And I said, Jesus, how do you just suffer? I mean, how do you sacrifice $6,000? Woo! So as the service went on, this young man began to share some of his history. Now, I'm getting ready to share something with you that just absolutely blew me off of my feet, and it may do the same for you. But this young man was going through a divorce. His wife, who is 65 years of age, made a decision to cheat on him. A 65-year-old woman cheated on her husband. What? Why? What does a 65-year-old woman need to creep away from her husband for? 17 years of marriage? Just up in smoke, like nothing even happened. This situation hit this young man like a ton of bricks, for he was in a hand gliding accident shortly after he received the knowledge of this information. And he broke both of his legs, his femur, and his back. Absolutely incredible. But the only thing that will last on this earth is seed, time, and harvest. For this young lady had planted seeds. She is worth $5 million. And she committed adultery. And so this young man, this young bloke from the UK, now receives alimony. $3,700 a month. Ooh-wee! That is absolutely incredible. And I shared with this young man, I said, sir, I do hope your ex-wife receives a great harvest from all the seeds she has planted in your life. Absolutely incredible. Now, I'm no longer bitter. I spent the time I seasoned in bitterness. For the day my ex-wife came to me and said to me, honey, I love you with everything inside of me. As she was giving me the 2 dozen oatmeal cookies that she baked from scratch for me, she said to me, if you come back to this apartment again, I will call the police on you and file a PPO. I thought that my world had come crashing down until this young man shared his story. The old adage that says, if you think you're going through problems, just look to your left or your right. Absolutely incredible. The Bible says that women are the weaker vessel. And when the Bible talks about that, they're talking about the spirit, not the natural, the spirit. I can't figure out why it is women jump from one place to the next, why they cannot find stability. I don't understand it. I don't understand why men can't understand that they're supposed to be the providers. This is the problem Abraham was having, for his wife was barren and he did not know how to handle it. And so when she came to him with this weak excuse or purpose to have a child because she had no patience, for Abraham to have sex with another woman and bear her a child, and not only with just some random woman, but one of God's enemies. For Hagar was an Egyptian. She came from the nation of Ham, who birthed Canaan and begot Nimrod, who brought in all of this nasty idol worship. So not only did not Abraham not commit adultery on his wife, even though he had permission, he committed adultery on his husband. He cheated on Sarah and he cheated on God. Because he was not strong enough to say no to Hagar. To Sarai. It sort of sounds like Adam. If Adam would have said no, if Adam would have said no, this whole thing would have changed. Now, even in that, remember, all things are congruent and happen as they have been predestined. And so Abraham created his own baby mama drama. And this baby mama drama is at the core of the battle between Christians and Muslims. For remember, Isaac and Ishmael, the angel of the Lord, and God heard the voice of the lad. Then the angel of God called to Hagar of heaven and said to her, "What ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the lad where he is." That means Ishmael was praying to his father. "Arise, lift up the lad and hold him with your hand, for I will make a great nation of him." A great nation. Out of Abraham came two nations, Christianity and Islam. Absolutely incredible. We are brothers. We should not be fighting each other. We come from the same Father, spiritually and naturally. God blessed Ishmael. Though he was at war with him, he blessed him. It is a depiction of the relationship that we have with the spirit realm. For Apostle P says, when I wanted to do good, evil is always around. The things I don't want to do, I find myself doing. And the things I do want to do, I cannot stop thinking about because I don't want to do them. This battle is between good and evil. It is not between flesh and blood. It is a spiritual battle. And all these things that God is talking about in this book are spiritual things. For God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. He is a spirit. He knew what Hagar was doing. He knew what Sarai was doing. He knew what Abram was doing. For he had written it this way. Life is God's screenplay. It is the greatest story we will ever read, live, and view. All of the decisions you have made have been predestined. Every last one of them. If you don't believe me, go stand in the mirror and ask yourself, if I could change my life, would I? This baby mama drama beef that Hagar and Sarah had pushed Hagar out of the camp. Hagar took her anger and taught her son, your daddy was a mighty man of God, but he was wrong for kicking us out. And so now we are beefing with our father and our stepmama. We are beefing with them. Beefing. And so God said that I am going to build a nation from Ishmael. And so from Ishmael, God said this. We're going to go a little bit deeper into the book of Genesis, chapter number 25, and we're going to read this. Now this is the genealogy of Ishmael, Abraham's son, who Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's maidservant, bore to Abraham. And these were the names of the sons of Ishmael, by the names according to their generations. Now, please forgive, I am probably going to pronounce these incorrectly. Charge my head and not my heart. The firstborn of Ishmael was Nebuja, then Kedar, Abil, Mishama, Duma, Masa, Hadar, Tamar, Jatah, Nephis, and Kadima. These were his 12 sons. Now, who else had 12 sons? Now, yes, it in fact skipped a generation because it was not Isaac who had the 12 sons, but it was Jacob who had the 12 sons. But still 2 nations came out of Abraham. Out of God's bride, 2 nations came. The nation of Islam and the nation of Christianity. Isaac and Ishmael. Muslims and Christians. Brothers. We are brothers. And though our mothers are beefing with each other, we are brothers. We are brothers. We should be loving each other. If you are in fact standing next to a Muslim and you are a Christian, turn around and kiss that brother on the face. If you are in fact a Muslim and you are standing next to a Christian, turn over and kiss that brother in the face. He is your brother. Now, this may cost my life teaching this, but it's okay, because to be absent in the body is to be present with the Lord. And if you are in fact conniving, please send me up out of here, because I am ready to see my husband. I'm so lonely down here, I'm ready to see my husband. So please send me to see my husband if you do not agree with what I am talking about. We're going to give a brief description of Abraham's grandsons. Ishmael's 12 sons. His first son was Nebajoth. His name simply means words, prophecies, and buds. And if you go into the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 7, you will see his name referred to. Now, in the book of Isaiah, remember Isaiah was one of the prophets. And he was dispatched to the nation of Judah. As Judah was being attacked by the Syrians, by the Babylonians, Isaiah was sent as the voice of the Lord. And he began to speak against Ishmael's son in the book of Isaiah chapter 60 verse 7. Absolutely incredible. The next son that we're going to talk about is Abdil, and his name means a vapor, a cloud of God. You can find him being talked about by the prophet Jeremiah in the book of Jeremiah chapter 36 verse 26. And it just kind of gives a chronology of where Abdil started. The next son is Kedar. His name means blackness or sorrow. And even though I read him as the second son or the third son, he is in fact the second son. And you can find some things about Kedar in the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible, in Isaiah chapter 21, verses 13 through 17. His last son we're going to be talking about tonight is Mibsam. I think that's how you pronounce it. His name simply means smelling sweet. And you can find him in the chronologies of the book of Chronicles, chapter 1, verse 29. Now, even though the scriptures don't say much about these young men, other than what they say in Genesis chapter 25, verse 13, and the chapters that I gave you, I am anxious to learn what the Quran says about these young men, about Abraham's grandsons. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, I have just recently began to read the Holy Quran. And tonight I want to read a couple of excerpts from the introduction, because I think it's absolutely beautiful what this book entails. So listen to this. Glory to Allah Most High, full of grace and mercy. He created all, including man. To man he gave a special place in his creation. He honored man to be his agent, and to that end endued him with understanding, purified his affections, and gave him spiritual insight, so that man should understand nature, understand himself, and know Allah through his wondrous signs, and glorify him in truth, reverence, and unity. That's absolutely incredible. That's absolutely incredible, people. Absolutely incredible. For the fulfillment of this great trust, man was further given a will, so that his acts should reflect Allah's universal will and law, and his mind freely choosing should experience the sublime joy of being in harmony with the infinite and with the great drama of the world around him, and with his own spiritual growth. I am so blessed by this. I know I grew up in Christianity, and I am not supposed to be reading this, but I am blessed by this. But created though he was in the best of molds, man fell from unity when his will was warped, and he chose the crooked path of discord and sorrow and pain, selfishness and degradation, ignorance and hatred, despair and unbelief, poisoned his life, and he saw shapes of evil in the physical, moral, and spiritual world. Wow. And himself. Then did his soul rise against himself, and his self-discord made discord between kith and kin. Men began to fear the strong and oppress the weak, to boast in prosperity and curse in adversity, and to flee each other, pursuing phantoms, for the truth and reality of unity was gone from their minds. When men spread themselves over the earth and became many nations, speaking diverse languages and observing diverse customs and laws, the evils became multiplied. As one race or nation became alienated from another, the brotherhood of man was now doubly forgotten. First between individuals, and secondly between nations. Arrogance, selfishness, and untruth were sown and reaped in large fields, and peace, faith, love, and justice. We obscured over masses of men, as large tracts of land are starved of sunshine by clouds floating from a high. Man, this is absolutely incredible. I wish that I had more time to read more. I was supposed to read the first 4 passages out of the introduction, but the time won't allow. Absolutely incredible. People, this thing between Muslims and Christians, we need to bring it to a halt. The Honorable Donald Trump keeps talking about bringing ISIS under subjection, but according to these books, this war is between God and his bride. Yes, we are the bride of Christ, but we possess evil in our hearts. Our cardiac coffins are dirty. And God wants to clean them out. This baby mama drama that Abraham brought into the nation was a disease. It was a dis-ease to God's divine plan and order. Though it was purposed and predestined, it was still a dis-ease. Any of you who possess baby mama drama know that it is a disease. All of you young men out there who have unfortunately had women in multiple situations, I am praying for you this night because I understand what you are going through. For I have 5 different children from 4 different women. Now, that's a pretty broad statement, because in fact only 3 of those children have been naturally manifested. 2 of those children were miscarried. Though they are still spiritually birthed, they weren't naturally birthed. One of those childs, her name was Violet Sky. She was birthed through a woman that would never be my baby mama. She would never be my baby mama. Never, ever, ever. Not in this life or the next. The next child that was spiritually birthed was Trey, or Christopher III. Now, this young lad was birthed through a baby mama of mine, and she is considered to be baby mama number 2. For she is also the woman that bore me my son Canaan. She bore me Canaan. Now, BM1 bore me a child named Faith. Now, a lot of people don't know about this young lady because I have just come into the knowledge of her. I have just come into the knowledge of her. Now, if I have a BM1 and a BM2, there has to be a BM3, for I have said that I have 5 children from 4 different women, and one of them will never be my baby mama. So the third one is the woman who bore me Samara. Now, just like Abraham with Hagar and Sarai, I have some serious baby mama drama. For every last one of those women who bore me natural children are upset with the decision that I have made to follow after my Creator. And my decision has bore me an insatiable ton of baby mama drama. Absolutely incredible. Because I have chosen to serve the person that created me over the people that I have had a hand in creating. I love my children dearly. I love them dearly. Though I have not seen them in 2 years. In faith, I've never met. 16 years old that girl is, and I have never met her. I love them with everything inside of me, but they don't have anything on my Creator. Shema Israel is the person that put me on this earth. Without him, they would not even have been created. People, as we get deeper into this series, Allah's All-Stars, we're going to be going inside the birth of Ishmael. We're going to be going inside the birth of the Nation of Islam. And I do feel that God has inspired me to bring this message to you, this information, to people that know of it and people that do not. If I have offended anyone tonight, please charge my head and not my heart, including my baby mamas. Any of you young men that are out there dealing with baby mama drama because you have made decisions that have upset the women that have borne you children, stay the man in the situation and stay connected to your bride. Hear what your bride is saying. Hear what your husband is saying. Men, your husband is Jesus Christ, God the Father. And he said this to Abraham. But God said to Abraham, do not let it be displeasing in your sight because of the lad or because of your bondwoman. Whatever Sarah has said to you, listen to her voice, for in Isaac your seed shall be called. Yet I will also make a nation of the sons of the bondwoman, because he is also your seed. So young men out there, mighty men of God, who have made decisions to have bore children with a multiplicity of women, whether they be bond servants or free women, meaning the women that you have had children with that God did not inspire you to be with, as opposed to the woman that you are married to and have children with. Let it be known that God has planned, as a mighty man of God, God has planned to bless all of your seeds, because they are your seeds and you are his seed. So men, we as the bride of Christ, we need to continue to talk to our husbands so that we do not get ourselves entangled with baby mama drama. Next week we're going to take you inside the next the second pair of Ishmael's sons, the next 3 sons. And then the following week we're going to be taking the show on the road, for we're going to go see the young man that we've been talking about, Otis Smith. We're going to be filming from his house as we bring the last 4. Actually, the next week is the next 4 sons, and the last week will be the final 4 sons, where there were 12 sons, and 4 times 3 is 12. People, you have been tuning into a victorious life journey to our wealthy season. I am the Apostle C.J. Watson II, the divinely inspired creator of Barbers for Christ Ministries, where we are religiously barbering yet purposely serving. And we've been broadcasting live here from the Hernandez Ranch in beautiful yet mountainous Yucca Valley, California. And you have been listening to me talk about the good news of Yahweh the Father. And we love you tonight, people. Though we are extremely tired, we are on our way to bed. Please forgive us if we have offended you. Please charge our heads and not our hearts. We love you. We pray for you. We hope that your week is sensational and purposed. Sensational and purposed. If you run into any Muslims, Christians this week, say hello to them. Kiss them on their forehead. Muslims, if you run into any Christians this week, say you love them. Kiss them on their forehead, for they are your brothers. We love you. Bye-bye.